computer. Evening. All right. Week 8, last week.
I know. Flown
And
by again.
yeah, and it's the last week. And potentially, well, it is the last
One.
shape up live call. Although it's not the last live call because
No.
obviously things are afoot. But we'll go through that again because there was another question just to clarify a few things. So we'll go through the key things. I think the main one when I was reading through the sheets this afternoon, this is a bit of a mixed week across the group, but not necessarily in a bad way. And I think I want to reassure everybody with this one. Um, you've not completely. Don't think if your nutrition's off, don't think you've completely blown it. Because when I was going through things like training looks good, steps are still there. It's the nutrition that's the thing that kind of slips. And we mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, didn't we, about things like tracking fatigue, they call it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's tough. I am in the depths of tracking fatigue at the moment, but I am pushing through. Um, my fitness pal, if you look at the top of my fitness pal, there's a little lightning thing. Um, where's the page? I don't know if you can see it on the top of. So just at the top there, there's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little lightning. That is your streak, and I've done 67 days as a food logging streak so far this year. And I remember when I first tracked, when I first lost weight, I did 400 and something, nearly 500 days of tracking. Um, and, part of that was a little bit that I was afraid of like taking the training wheels off. But 5 days, 500 days, and it is tough. I get it. Um, I'm only tracking at the moment because I've got a specific goal. But obviously, what we're working towards is you guys not having to track all the time. There's nothing wrong with tracking every now and then. Even like I'm like a walking my fitness pal, I would say. I can literally walk around places when people sort of say to me, "Oh, this is what I ate," and I'm going, "Right, that's this many calories." That somebody did it today, a client did it today. He told me what he'd had for lunch, and I went, "Yeah, that's 1,100 calories." He's like, "How do you know that?" And I just broke it down for him, and I said, "This, and this, and then you've got to assume this as well." There's a go, 1,100 calories. He'd eaten out at a restaurant, 1,100 calories. You got about 45 grams of protein, this many carbs, this much fat. He's like, "How do you know?" He said, "When you track that much, you learn it." And
Yeah.
just as a little tangent, when you see people saying you don't need to track, use intuitive eating, those people are literally they're walking my fitness pals. They are walking calorie calculators because what they don't tell you is that, or they might do, they'll say, "Oh, we spent years tracking and now we do." No, you spent years tracking and you learned what was in food, you learned the macronutrients and the calories, and then you will tot up the number of calories in the trolley, in the food in your trolley before you tot up the price.
Yeah.
So, when they say it's intuitive eating, I call bollocks. Yeah, but it's time consuming, it takes effort, and it is mentally taxing. So it is perfectly normal for you to kind of get tired of it, and that's fine. What you need to do is not so when you stop or if you have a break, a short break, let's say you have a weekend off, don't completely remove the guardrails. The same principles that we keep going on about with protein, fiber, healthy fats, all of those same principles are important. And they're the things that need to stay in place so that you can step away from tracking. If you are stepping away from tracking and then going back to old habits, you haven't got the routines in place, or you're dropping tracking and you're chucking the baby out with the bathwater. You need to, if the tracking goes, the food that you eat needs to stay. And if you can't stomach that food that you're eating while you're tracking, then you need to change that as well. That's something
Yeah.
else you need to work on. Okay. Um, so yeah, that's one thing I would say about tracking. But don't be completely hard on yourself because if your training's still good, your steps are still good, that's fine. And if you do sort of step away from the track and you notice you eat a little bit more and your weight goes up, that's normal. It's not fat necessarily. I said this to a client earlier today. We've actually upped their calories because they're at a goal weight and they've gained 2 pounds and they're panicking. And I'm like, no, you've got more food in your
You're
stomach.
fine.
I've
Yeah.
increased your calories by 700, so you're close to maintenance. You've got 600 or 700 calories worth of food in you and carbs and water, and that's fine. Eat like that for a couple of weeks. You have to learn and then see if it stabilizes and it will gradually come down. Your body's a weird and wonderful thing. But yeah, that's generally the key point there. You're still training, steps are reasonable, sleep generally okay. Just watch that one. Um, I know for some of you it's really a busy time of year and there's other things going on, but really do try and prioritize your sleep as best you can. The knock-on effects of poor sleep, you know, if you're tired, your decision making isn't as good. Appetite can be dysregulated. You could be more hungry. Energy levels are drop, so you move less. So if you feel that your sleep's going, focus on that. Make that a priority this week. That's my advice to you. Um, Mine wasn't great last week, and I felt really tired and I felt really hungry. So my priority this week is my non-negotiable was 7 hours sleep a night.
Yeah.
That was it. And I have to say, my energy levels have been up. I even managed a week 6 run today of Couch to 5K. I've hit the 25-minute runs after this though.
You can do it. You'll be
I
fine.
can. The running isn't an issue. It's stopping me from getting bored. Um, and yeah, I need to find somebody to run with. But yeah, no, that's good. So we've talked about the anchors and things. So remember those key anchors. Protein at your meals. If you can't see what the protein source is, change it, right? If it's not obvious, change it. So make sure you get your protein in your meals. Make sure that you're getting your fruit and veg in there as well, because that fiber, and we want at least two fist-sized portions of fruit and veg, because that fiber is going to be really important in keeping you full. Get your volume food in. If you're going to have snacks, plan them, think about them, choose them with intention. Don't just go, oh, I'm going to buy a big bar of Galaxy chocolate. Get smaller snacks in. Yeah, that's the key thing, and I'll talk about that as well today. That's on one of the questions. But yeah, generally, in fact, that segues straight into the first question. But yeah, generally, just think about those key points. Protein, fruit and veg. Keep your steps, hydration, sleep, and then plan your snacks. And the first question was about chocolate cravings. And what was the actual question? I have got it here. So first question was tips for managing chocolate cravings when you just need chocolate, but you know you won't just stop at a few bites. Yes, I ate a huge bar of Galaxy in 2 sittings this week. Um, Alice, I'll let you answer this one.
You know what? We've all been there. And I
Yeah,
think there are going to be days where actually, if you want chocolate, nothing else is the same. Like the way that it's made, obviously the taste, the texture, the way it melts, like it's designed in a way that it will make you want more. Um, and yeah, I think sometimes you can try and replace it with other things, can't you? But it's not always going to work. Sometimes it will, other times it absolutely won't. And I think it's, I think it's learning how to include it without feeling like you then can't control yourself around it, if that makes
yeah,
sense. So it's taking away that power that it's got in a sense where it makes you want to eat more than maybe you actually want.
yeah,
You know, actually, sometimes you have a couple of squares, you can be like, really enjoyed that, that was fine. But it can be really difficult to just stop at a little bit. And I think it's really a lot of it is when you've got this mindset of these junk foods or bad foods or I shouldn't be having that. Oh no, I can't have that. I'm on a diet. And it's having that almost a stigma around that food in the sense that it's something that you're not allowed makes you want it more. You know, so someone says, don't press that red button. The only thing you want is to press that red button and you can't focus on anything else. And it's the same thing with food. If you're telling
Yeah.
yourself constantly, I can't have it, I can't have it, you will just want it more.
Yeah.
So allow yourself to have some. And even if, like, well, like you've just said, we'll have a smaller amount of it, buy like a smaller individual bars. And if you have got the big bars, portion them out before you've even decided that you want that chocolate. If you've got it, portion that out before you even have it into like little bags even and have one of them. And then at least you've split it. And even if you split it down to smaller portions but have it every single day, whether you're like overly craving chocolate or not, but removing that magical thing about chocolate by allowing yourself to have it whenever, it loses that
Yeah.
specialness. Like you'll still have days where you'll want it, but actually if you remove this whole thing about it being something that you can't have by allowing yourself to have it more frequently, it can help in a weird way.
Yeah, they call it unconditional permission to eat, don't they?
Yeah, and I
And
think that's
it's
the thing.
yeah.
Like, just let yourself have it whenever you want it, but don't get in that mindset of, oh no, I can't have that because I'm on a diet,
Yeah.
because it is just going to make you want it
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. So
But
it's
think
the
like,
restrict, crave, binge, guilt cycle.
yeah, exactly. And that's what we're really trying to get away from.
Yeah.
There is always that thing of like, just stop and think for a minute, because sometimes it's like, oh, I really want that chocolate. What is it that's going on in that moment? Like, have a think. Is it just that you're really hungry? Is it that time of the month? Are you really stressed? Are you tired? Is there something else going on that's making you crave something that's, you know, that sweet snack that's gonna hit whatever it is that you need, whether it's that dopamine hit, whether it's hunger, like whatever that is, stop and think. Because actually, if you can also work out where that's coming from, like what it's like, what's happened this week that's made you want to eat the entire bar,
Yeah.
think about what it is that's happened and think, right, I didn't sleep as well this week, or oh, okay, it's time of the month, or I've been really stressed. Like if you can work that out, it'll again help you remove that guilt in future.
Yeah.
And if you can manage it, that's what'll make it better. But the other thing is move forward, like draw that line, move on. Don't get stuck in that, like say, that cycle of that guilt and thinking, that's it, I've ruined everything.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, if you can like buy the smaller, you can get like the multi-pack of the smaller bars even. Or like I say, if you've got a big bar, portion it out, put it in your sandwich bags and have them as portions.
Yeah.
And say like, right, there you go, that's that one for today.
Yeah.
And
The
and
worst
manage it that
thing
way.
with that portioning one, the worst thing you can do is it's like with biscuits. You
Oh,
never take the packet of biscuits into the living
absolutely
room with your
not.
cup of tea. You take one or two. And it's the same with chocolate. You know,
Yeah.
break a strip off and then take that and then put the rest away out of sight. Never take it with you. And I think that's the way for me, the worst thing I can do is like if you get nice chocolates, like we had a hotel chocolat for a couple of boxes for Christmas.
Nice.
And the first one we took into the living room with us and sat it on the table. That box lasted all of about 15 minutes. Um, and then the other box, we said, no, that's not going to stay in the living room. That'll stay in the other room. And then if we want one, we'll go and get it and whatever. And I think that's a key one there. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I think that was pretty much everything. But yeah, definitely portion it out first. Don't take that hot, because the other thing is like, if you're, weekend, you're chilling out, having a night in, oh, let's watch a film and have some chocolate. If you're then also distracted, you're also likely to overeat. So
That mindless eating, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
just portion it out, take that bit with you, have that, enjoy it with the film, whatever that is, or just having it and focus on what you're eating.
Yeah.
But then it's stopping is the hardest bit. But yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
that's
There's lots of really good strategies
okay.
there. So you talked about obviously trying to avoid the restrict binge, sorry, the
Yeah,
restrict crave binge guilt cycle. So allow it. Unconditional
yes.
permission to eat, really important. That takes practice. Um, that gets easier the more you do it. Coming from somebody who's had a poor relationship with food and a lot of food guilt, especially, when I was starting to do my initial weight loss, that is the hardest thing to learn. But I promise you, the more you practice it, the easier it becomes. And actually, what you find is that when you do have it, if you it loses that grip. But they call it the Cadbury's effect. People who used to work, and they can still do it now. When you work in the Cadbury's chocolate factory, you are told you can help yourself. You can have eat stuff off the line. It's not so common now because most of it's automated, but they can eat stuff off the line. And then what they find is that a lot of these people, they call it the Cadbury stone. They put a stone on weight, but then they get so sick of chocolate that they stop eating it and the weight drops off again. Um, so it's that kind of thing where you go, oh yeah, I can eat all that. Actually, I don't want it
Yeah.
because, and if you allow yourself permission to eat it all the time, or you can have it whenever you want it, it does remove some of that kind of hold it has over you. So do allow it. But when you are eating it, as Alice says, don't keep large amounts of it in or
Yeah.
readily available. And certainly don't take a whole bar of chocolate to the settee with you while you're watching a film. Pre-portion things, portion out yourself, buy smaller portions. Or if you're really struggling, don't just store it in the house.
Mm,
Say it's not, you're not saying you can't have it. It's just saying if I want chocolate, I've got to make a special trip to go and get some, if that's the thing, or biscuits or what. And it works with anything. And then the other final one was that kind of stop and halt and check in with yourself to see if it's hormonal, there's nothing going to replace it. So allow yourself some
just
of
go
it.
for it.
But if it's something else, then it's kind of right. Do I address? So if it's tiredness, might be something as simple as just go to bed.
Yeah.
If it's an emotional response or there's boredom, there'll be something that you can do. And cravings are not permanent. Cravings come and go. They're psychological. So if you can distract yourself for 10 minutes, quite often that craving passes. And then one last thing I would say is food pairing. We didn't mention that one.
Yes.
Some
Yeah.
of it
Yeah.
and pair it with high fiber or high protein. So you can have it and then it kind of fills you up.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, a lot of cravings. Cravings are psychological quite a lot of the time. So it's just learning to kind of work with that craving.
Yeah.
Question two was this was, yeah. Now, this is from Carrie. Carrie sent me a TikTok, and
Oh
this is
God.
part of the skinny talk stuff. So the question was, I keep seeing this girl and the girl that, and there are lots of them like her. On my social, Turks talks about a fistful of food is enough. She eats when hungry, but only eats a fistful at a time. Views on this, think I already know. I think we both. It's an eating disorder. It's got eating disorder written all over it.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts on it. It's part of the skinny talk, and its idea of one of them was the 3 bite rule, and then you've got and then you've got sensible evidence based kind of practitioners who are taking the piss out of it by going 3 bites and taking 2 small bites and then shoving the rest of the mouth in one go. That's my take on it. Yeah, it's an eating disorder waiting to happen. When you are like one of them I've seen was you can eat whatever you want, but then have small mouthfuls. And the mouthful she's taking is literally it's a
Like a
crumb.
mouse.
It's a crumb. It's not even a mouse. I think a mouse would eat more. It's like a crumb. It goes one, and you can see like a tiny. You look like that amount on the fork, and that's one mouthful, 2 mouthfuls, and puts the fork down. Oh, I'm full. I'm thinking you're a lying cow. There's no, and it's this. Oh, it's an
It's
eating
it
disorder.
it's really hard at the moment, and I think the scary thing is like the demographic and the age that are being exposed to that at the moment is
Oh,
what's
it's
really, really scary.
terrifying.
And that's the awful thing. And
Yeah,
it's really hard because the way they'll dress it up is, oh, here's a tip if you're trying to lose weight. Look, you can look like me. I just don't eat and just have a fistful. You think, oh yeah, look, portion control, they're moderating what they're eating, but you're not getting enough. Like, I've got really small hands. I'd be so hungry.
yeah.
Like it's not good. It's not
When we
going to fill
think
you
about,
up.
if we think about the hand portion guide, and I've talked about it before,
Yeah.
portion size, if you're only having a fistful of food to maintain, so if we just look at it, take the eating disorder, my view of it being an eating disorder, out. if we think about what we need to maintain optimal health, which is ultimately what we're talking about, we need a protein sized portion. Sorry, a palm sized portion of protein, the size of your palm and the thickness of your palm. That's for things like oily fish and red meat. If you're using white fish and white meat like chicken, it's the size, that is the portion. If you eat 3 meals that have that portion of protein, so it's a good dollop of yogurt, it's it's 3 eggs, it's a chicken breast, it's a portion of steak. That is with every meal. That's a fistful on its own. Then you
Yeah,
need a fist-sized potato or a cupped handful of carbs, two fistfuls of. Now, if you just eat a fist-sized portion of food, what she say, a fistful of food is enough. No, no, you are going to be deficient in essential nutrients and micronutrients, and you are going to cause all sorts of issues, osteoporosis, sarcopenia, um, deficiencies and micronutrient deficiencies. So deficiencies in vitamin C, vitamin D. So you're looking at scurvy, rickets. You know, yeah, that's a. I can't really. There's nothing else needs to be said on
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's
And it's, if it's always just like, oh, when you're hungry, have a fistful. To me, I'd be starving all day.
yeah,
Whereas actually, you're basing yourself around three well-portioned meals a day. You're regulating your hunger better. You're like say you're going to be getting more of those nutrients in,
yeah.
and overall, as a more balanced, healthy diet, that's 100% the way to go.
I'm going to do it. That's inspired me to do a post on it. It is. It's they're putting it across as reasonable health advice, but it's not, and it's dangerous, and that's the thing that's really scary. It
Yeah,
it seems like it seems like it is reasonable
yeah,
advice because it's kind of jumping on the back of everything in moderation, which yeah, great, but that's not moderation. It's starvation,
yeah.
especially some of them where they're like, no. So yeah, I mean, I know you guys have heard us all saying about it, but just it's not so much you yourselves that the issue, it's who else is being exposed to that. And
Yeah,
if you
that's
have if
scary.
you have particularly daughters, if you've got girls are far and boys, some boys as well,
Yeah,
but if you were certainly girls who were sort of, I would say 10, 11, 12, up to the late teens, just everything around, and especially, I mean, I watched the Manosphere. We're not even going to go into that. I watched the Manosphere documentary. Um, some parents need to be severely reprimanded for allowing their children to become like that. Let's just say that. Yeah. So,
but yeah, it's like you say, it's I guess like we say, like body types and um what's seen as good or bad, they go around in trends, just like
yeah,
fashion does, so do body types.
yeah.
And all the skinny top does is takes him back to teenage me on Tumblr with all of the nothing tastes as good as skinny feels, moment on the hips,
Yeah,
moment on the lips, left on the all of that. It feels
yeah,
like it's coming back. And I look back to how sad I was then, like being younger and all I wanted was to be smaller. And you just want to go back and like hug the younger you. Like you
yeah,
don't need the younger generation being
no,
sucked back into that because so much work has gone into like, no,
yeah.
that's not okay. And it's really sad to think that it's starting to go back that way. So
It's
yeah.
just, yeah. So, yeah, just be more aware of how other people view it. So, yeah, we made our view very clear on that one.
And try and get out your algorithms.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's not a lot we can do to, the thing is you can report all these things, but it's so out there. I mean, there's one that I've watched who was saying, don't lift any more than 5 pound weights because we don't want to get bulky. I'm like, I've been lifting weights consistently for over 10 years and I'm not bulky. I wish I was.
Yeah.
I worked out, and I think I've said this before on a recent call. Um, I worked out how much, so I've been training for 10 years. I've worked out how much lean muscle tissue I've put on in 10 years. And it's around 11 or 12 kilos. That's an average of 1 kilogram per year, just over. And that's
Yeah.
for somebody who is trained consistently at least 3 times a week in a gym, eaten well, smash the protein, progressive overload, and I've been lucky enough to have very few injuries. Um, and I've only put 12 kilos, so 26 to 27 pounds of muscle. And that's that, so you're not suddenly going to turn into the incredible she-bulk overnight. It just doesn't happen.
Damn it.
Yeah, sorry. I wish, some of you are probably going, God, I wish I did. I wish I'd turned into the Hulk. It's no. Um, yes. Right. Last question. Well, not a question, just so the question, this was from Ree. So she said, more detail about the new program, please. You didn't give much away last week. One of the main things is, will we still be able to track workouts like we do on the app now? Right. So, no, we didn't give away a lot last week because we were trying to sort of keep a lot of it under wraps. It's now the cat is out of the bag.
Yeah.
Last night, yesterday, we basically said, this is it. We've not kind of put all the information out there because some of it we're still trying to work out just a couple of little things ourselves. But effectively, I'll tell you what, shall I share the screen? It's probably easier if I
Go on,
share the
show them.
screen. Right.
Have a sneak
Um,
peek.
so this is just some of it. So that desktop, there we go.
The suspense, though.
There we are. So effectively, this is our platform that we're setting up. It's something called School. There's an app on your phone that you can download, and you join communities because the idea of this is to have a community. Once you sign up, once you've paid and you sign up, you'll get access to this community. In here, there will be. So when you first, it'll say there, start hearing announcements there. On that, click on that, and that is the basic kind of the announcement post. So this will tell you how things kind of work. Okay. There will be a video on there as well, and I'll put a video in just to explain everything, just to show you the basics. There's an awful lot of stuff, but you're going to get so much stuff, it's ridiculous. But that's the community. That's where everything starts. Within the community, there are 4 notice boards. The first one is to start hearing announcements. That is only going to be me, Alice, and our other coach, Lisa, who will be posting on that. Probably mostly me, because I'm the only, at the moment, currently the only full-time coach. Although we are looking at changing that for Alice and Lisa. But yeah, we'll be posting on there with the announcements and stuff. So it'll be things like reminding you of the live call, any events, things like that will go there. Okay. You'll get support. So in the support one, if you click on that, you can put questions on there. But the idea is that we will go in, somebody will be checking that message board every single day, answering questions, jumping on there. The aim is that we will spend some time every day being on there, whether it's just answering questions, just replying stuff, or even maybe doing like a little live, just a 20, 30 minutes. We can go live. So you can see here, there is a go live option. So it depending on what happens in the day, but that will go in the announcements. I'll say, right, I'm actually going live in the group. If you want to join me, you can do. If you've got any questions, post them, bang, and you can go and do that. Wins, big or small, we're all about celebrating the wins. So if you've got into a pair of shorts that you hadn't worn for a couple of years, great. If you've lifted more weight in the gym, if you've managed to complete Couch to 5K, you put those wins in there. And then the last one is the resources and replays. So every week we will do one of these live calls. It's going to move to a Tuesday, and it's going to be, I think we said 7:30 on a Tuesday,
Yeah.
7 or 7:30. And again, that time can change. If people say actually 7 o'clock works better, we'll try and do 7. If 7:30 works better, we'll do 7:30. And then we will record it. We'll put the replays up there. But there will be other resources. This is a continually developing thing. Now there's 3 of us. We can start putting stuff on there And this is where the kind of lesson stuff comes in. So we've set up some courses, and this is what we're working on at the moment. Um, the foundations one, I'm working on that at the moment. So that will explain how the whole program works. There'll be some little basics information, little things of, how to kind of use it, navigate it. In the nutritions, Alice is building that one. So if we click on nutritions, got the two lessons, at the moment, two lessons.
There will
With
be
each
more.
lesson, you'll have a video, and then at the bottom, a little bit of a kind of an explanation, and then right at the bottom, quite often there's a little, oh,
I was
there's
going to
one,
say, don't
not
pick
that
that one
one,
on the next one. That's
this one. There we go. Right at the bottom, you get a resource as well. Um, the mindset one, which is what I'm writing with this one. Um, Again, same sort of thing, but with this one, what we've actually tried to do as well is clarify how the coaching works. There's a system, and we're calling it the RFC system. And RFC not doesn't just stand for Real Fit Collective, it stands for reset, foundation, consistency. So everything in there is we're kind of building you up to around that. And it's the shape up philosophy, but in the Real Fit Collective. So you'll get loads and loads of resources in there. If I can shut that down without moving, there we go. So that's the classroom. Watch the videos, and it's not a course that you have to kind of complete. There'll be things in there when you ask questions like how do we tackle like the late night chocolate cravings? There'll be things in here that like the emotional eating patterns, environment advantage. We'll look at, what to do after a bad weekend. We'll look at kind of the binge, the restrict, crave, binge, guilt cycle. There'll be stuff in there around your eating patterns. And then again, the training, Lisa's writing the training. So at the moment, not a lot in there, but I have been recording exercises with Lisa, and she's doing all the PowerPoint things at the moment, and we'll put them up. Lisa's doing the workouts as well, and the workouts are going to be provided in there. At the moment, there isn't an app to track, but we will give you ways of doing that. There are free apps out there. There's one called Heavy, which I use, where you can take the workouts that we'll set you and you can enter them really, really easily. So Heavy, it's Hevy, and you can sort of set your workouts up, and you can set, and I can show you on the screen there. You can set like your workouts, and it'll tell you how you've done and track things through. We are working on something where you can track stuff. It'll be initially will be a web-based app, but that's going to be something that we'll put in place in a month or two's time. At the moment, we're kind of trying to build a few other little bits and bobs first. Okay. There is a recipe library. Everybody will get access to the recipe library. So the recipe library, when it's all loaded up, has got all of the recipes that I've done. And then any suggestions for people have recipes, I can sort of get them up. But in here, you've got all the recipe library. That picture's not uploaded. It should have. If I refresh that. So you get the recipe library. No, oh, there's two pictures I need to update. But yeah, click on it. You've got your ingredients, all your macronutrients. It tells you roughly how long it takes to make, all of that there. And the really good thing is when we go back to the library, if you like a recipe, you can tap on it and save them. And at the moment, you will have your favorite section where you can store those. The next steps with this bit is that you're then going to be able to build a meal plan. So the other thing that we put in there is a calorie calculator. So, rather than us we can set you individual calorie calculations if you want that, but we're going to give you the calorie calculator where you put all your details in and it will work out your calories. And then using that, you can then set kind of your calorie target in here and pick meals, and you set your meal plan. It will give you a shopping list. So that is in there as well. Lots of other resources. There's just lots. That's all I can say. there'll be more. The stuff I've missed, all the Zoom workouts that we've got available, you've got access to those. But effectively, it's all the resources that I've built up over 10 years, plus the stuff that Alice and I have put together over the last 2 or 3 years, and more. But you're getting three coaches for less than the price that you're paying now.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first 30 people are going to get it for £19 a month. It's a monthly subscription. There's no fixed term. If you did it for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and decided that you don't need it anymore, that's absolutely fine. There's no, but it's £19 a month for the first 30 people that is going to be fixed for the first 6 months. It's then going to go up to £29, and that at the moment is the fixed price. And for the foreseeable, it may go up in the future, but we're talking a couple of quid a month. That's it. So what we're trying to do is put something together that is going to be. We're not in it to make a million. We're not going to be millionaires, but charging you 30 quid a month.
No.
We're there to try and make as much, get as much information as possible out there. Remove all of this yo-yo dieting restart cycle. Remove all the bullshit, because I tell you what, I'm sick and tired of it. And I know, talking to people, they're sick and tired of not knowing what to do. Um, what you might find is that some of our things change, because I'm quite sad. I read like nutrition papers and things like that. That's kind of what I use to relax with. I know I'm a geek. But anything that changes in nutrition, we update. Alice and I are both Mac Nutrition trained nutritionists, evidence based, and we live by that. And we basically want to make sure that all the evidence that you're given is clear. There's no such thing as a stupid question. You will always be able to ask questions. We've got the group, the check-in call. Oh, that's the other thing. Fridays, every Friday, you'll have your check-in. That'll be open all weekend. So we'll send it, we'll put it out, check-in forms available. It will shut on a Sunday evening. We will put together all the questions on a Monday, and then we'll answer the key things on Tuesday. That's how the check-in system is going to work as well, just to be clear. There's so much more I could go on about, but this call's already getting to be a long one. So you feel free, I'm going to shut that down in sharing. Feel free to ask any questions you want about what we've just shown within the
Yeah.
group, and we will answer them. But yeah, you'll get workouts, you'll get recipes, you'll get coaching, you'll get all the questions that you're asking on this, you'll get that. There's also, if you need any further kind of one-to-one, there will be options that you can then work onto that. So from all of you, you will oh, and also one of the questions was about individualized, personalized programs. No, because of the sheer volume of we can't do that. What we will show you is how to tweak the program to suit you, because the programs, what you will notice is that most programs that you do, they are fairly similar. There's no magic workout. We do have to take into account things like mobility restrictions and aches and pains and things like that. So if you've got lower back pain, the chances are we won't get you to do heavy deadlifts. That's absolutely fine. But what we will do is we'll show you how to modify the exercises in the workout. So if deadlifts are in the program, we go, well, if you've got bad back, then we would recommend you do this exercise instead. If back squats are in the program and it's like, well, actually, you can't do a back squat because of A, B, and C, then we recommend you do this. And you will get advice on doing that. And ultimately, like I say, one of the things that we'll work on is getting a way of us setting the program in an app. You can then have access to that app and you can log your program, your workouts in there, as you would with the Stridis program. But at the moment, we haven't got that facility, mainly because it costs a fortune. So I've actually found a workaround, which is slightly less than the £15,000 that I've been quoted to do it. And that's just a prototype app. That's not the full one. Yeah, so we have found a workaround, but I'm working on that myself at the moment. Yeah. But I think that's everything. I think that's everything. This is like I say, this is the last week, the full week. I will extend the shape up stuff in Stridis past next week, which is the break week. That's your typical break week. I will extend that for the next 2 weeks. Okay. And that includes a check-in next week. So we won't do the live call on a Thursday, but I will do a check-in. I'll do a check-in on Monday and I'll do a last quick check-in the final Monday of the break week, just to make sure you guys know what you're doing. You booked calls in as well. So we've booked calls in so we can sit and have a chat and talk through things. Whether you come on board with us, we'd love to have you with the Real Fit Collective. We really would. Um, it's we're dead excited about it. We think it's going to be absolutely amazing. And I've been, like I say, I've been doing this for 10 years. I've tried multiple different things to launch. This, I think, is it. And especially now we've got like the RFC method. I'm dead excited about that. That was a brainstorm. I mentioned I did a voice note to Alice. Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been thinking about it for a little while, but it just yesterday crystallized in my head. Um, that'll be magic. But yeah, get on the Zoom calls with me in the next week or two. We'll go through stuff. And other than that, it is a final. No, it's not a final buy from us. It's a buy for now because if you
Bye for
sign
now.
up in the Real Fit Collective, you will see us again, and you'll
With
definitely
with a
see
new face. See us with a
with a
new
new
face.
face. Yeah, Lisa. Lisa's an absolute
Yeah.
beast. Yeah, she's
She's
a
very
beast.
good. She's lovely. She's wonderful. You'll love her. So
Yeah,
even just join us for a month just so you can meet her.
yeah.
It'll be
She's
worth it.
a she's an absolute machine, is Lisa. Yeah, she's one of us as well. She's crazy as hell.
Yeah.
Fab. Right. All right then, guys. Have a lovely evening. I will do the check-ins on Monday and I will speak to some of you very, very soon. It's bye from us.
Bye.